Welcome to Potty, your weekly roundup cybersecurity chats, February 8, 2026. Hey everyone, welcome back to our weekly roundup on all things cybersecurity. I'm Sam, your main host, and I'm really excited to jump into some interesting topics today. We've got a mix of stuff from the community like stories about landing jobs in this crazy field, the real talk on burnout from those night shifts and SOC roles, and this intriguing Reddit post about decrypting some high-profile files. So Jordan, what do you think? Ready to dig in? I mean, it's always fascinating how these threads pull back the curtain on what we do every day.
Absolutely, Sam. I'm pumped for this one. You know, it's not every day we get to chat about the human side of cybersecurity instead of just the tech jargon. Let's start with that decryption thing. It sounds like a wild rabbit hole, but from what I've seen in the sources, it's all about folks compiling links and sharing files to make info easier to access. Okay, so for our first story, I think it'll give us a good chance to talk about data security basics without getting too deep into speculation. What caught your eye about it?
Yeah, that's a great point, Jordan. So diving into our first story from that Reddit post about decrypting Epstein files, it's basically someone pulling together a bunch of links and posts to centralize information, which I guess minimizes the hassle of hunting for scattered data from the source. It's clear this is all about making resources more accessible in the cybersecurity community, like compiling everything into one spot so people don't have to jump around subreddits. I was going to say it reminds me of how we often deal with fragmented data in investigations, but what makes this stand out is how it could highlight the importance of secure sharing practices. You know, in a field like ours, where data breaches are common, this kind of effort might encourage better habits like verifying sources before distributing sensitive info.
Wait, that's actually really interesting, Sam. I didn't realize it was just about organizing links rather than anything dramatic. So if we're thinking about the implications, this could tie into everyday cybersecurity work where we handle large sets of data. For instance, it makes me wonder how professionals ensure that when they're compiling files, they're not accidentally exposing vulnerabilities. I mean, the post mentions minimizing hunting for info, which is smart, but it also underscores the need for caution in how we share things online. Overall, it's a good reminder that even community-driven projects need strong security measures to avoid mishaps.
Exactly. And let's not forget that in cybersecurity, every little detail matters. Building on that, if more people start doing this kind of compilation, it could lead to better collaboration tools in the industry, like encrypted forums or secure databases for sharing intel. I remember reading about how this post was shared in our cybersecurity, and it's all focused on practicality, not some big conspiracy. So for anyone listening, it's a nudge to think about how you handle your own data. Maybe double check those encryption methods before posting. Jordan, do you think this could inspire some new tools or best practices?
Oh, totally, Sam. That would be awesome if it did. I can see how something like this might push for more user-friendly, secure sharing platforms. All right, shifting gears a bit, let's wrap up this story by saying it's a prime example of community-driven security efforts. Now onto our next topic, which is all about success stories in landing cybersecurity jobs from another Reddit thread. From the source, it's people sharing what made them stand out, like having real-world projects or certifications, and it's pretty inspiring for anyone struggling in the job market.
Right. So for our second story, let's talk about that Reddit post where folks are spilling the beans on what helped them get hired in cybersecurity. From what I gathered, a lot of it boils down to practical experience and standing out with unique skills, like maybe having a portfolio of personal projects or nailing interviews with specific examples. The post emphasizes success stories, so it's not all doom and gloom about the job market. Instead, it's about persistence and what actually works. I was going to mention how this could be a game changer for newcomers. Like, if you're just starting out, focusing on things like cloud computing certs or real SOC simulations might make all the difference. Jordan, have you ever heard stories like this from your network?
Wait, no, that's not quite right. Let me rephrase that. It's more about what made candidates stand out, like demonstrating problem-solving skills or having relevant experience, as per the source. So yeah, it's wild how something as simple as sharing a GitHub repo with cybersecurity projects can tip the scales. This really gets me thinking about how the industry values hands-on stuff over just degrees. For example, if you're applying for a role, highlighting how you tackled a mock breach could be key. Sam, I bet this resonates with a lot of our listeners who are grinding through applications.
It absolutely does. And let's expand on that. The post shows that standing out often means going beyond the resume, like networking or contributing to open source security tools. Okay, so in a market that's tough, these stories prove that it's possible with the right approach. I love how it shifts the focus to positive outcomes, encouraging people to keep pushing forward. What if more folks shared their journeys? It could build a stronger community support system.
That's so true, and it makes me appreciate how sharing these experiences can demystify the hiring process. Diving deeper, I think this highlights the need for ongoing learning in cybersecurity, like staying updated with the latest threats. So for anyone out there, take it from these success stories, building a solid foundation with certs and projects is crucial. Let's not forget, though, that it's also about fitting into team dynamics, which the post implies through interview tips.
Precisely, Jordan. It's all about that balance. Moving on to our third story, which is about shift burnout in SOC roles from yet another Reddit post. Here, a SOC analyst talks about their experience with rotational shifts and how it's affecting them after just 6 months. The source is straightforward, it's real, and it involves the toll of irregular hours on mental health, like switching schedules and the constant alertness required. I mean, this isn't just whining, it's a genuine concern that many in the field face, and it could lead to bigger discussions about work-life balance and cybersecurity.
Oh, that's tough to hear, Sam. Burnout is no joke, especially in high-stakes environments like SOCs. From the post, it's clear the analyst is dealing with the physical and mental strain of those shifts, and it's making me think about how companies can address this. For instance, maybe implementing better rotation policies or providing more support resources. I was going to say it's interesting how this ties back to our earlier talk about jobs, because if burnout is common, it might affect retention and how people prepare for roles.
Exactly. And let's not gloss over it. The post specifies that after only 6 months, the shifts are already impacting their well-being, which underscores the need for awareness. So in the broader context, this could push for industry changes, like advocating for flexible scheduling or mental health programs. I've heard from colleagues that taking breaks and setting boundaries is key, but it's easier said than done in cybersecurity. Jordan, how do you think we can use stories like this to improve the field?
Well, for starters, sharing these experiences openly, like in that Reddit thread, can foster more empathy and solutions. It might even lead to innovations such as AI tools to automate some monitoring tasks, though we have to stick to what's real. Ultimately, addressing burnout could make the profession more sustainable, attracting more talent. Okay, so wrapping up this story, it's a call to action for both individuals and employers to prioritize health and cybersecurity work.
Couldn't agree more. It's about creating a healthier environment overall. All right, Jordan. As we wind down this episode, let's quickly recap what we've covered. We started with that decryption project, highlighting community efforts in data handling, then moved to inspiring job success stories that show what's working in hiring. And finally, we tackled the serious issue of shift burnout in SOC roles. It's been a great chat, full of insights that I think our listeners will find valuable.
Yeah, it really has, Sam. Lots to think about this week. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and remember to stay secure out there. If you have thoughts or stories, drop them in the comments or hit us up on socials. We'll catch you next time for more Cybersecurity Roundup. Take care.